Hello, dreamers, doers, believers, and achievers, wonderful winners and powerful pinners. How are you? I'm Dwayne Shigg, and welcome to another episode of Talking Books. This is the place for people who like books, reading them and writing them. We want to get the information to you, inspiration to you from some of the greatest authors, first timers, some of them self-published, many of them, but we want to make sure that you get to talk about their books. And tonight is no exception. We have with us Mr. Darryl Harmon. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Mr. Shiggs. I appreciate this platform that you've given us.
Oh, thank you, man. I greatly appreciate it. So real quick, why don't you tell us the title of your book?
Christmas is coming. All I want for Christmas is good credit and positive cash flow.
Love it.
That's it, man.
Christmas is coming. All I want for Christmas is good credit and positive cash flow. That is powerful. I was reading your bio information, and I'm going to jump into the subject of the book in that title because we got to deal with that. But before that, you said in your bio information that you had no intentions of being a writer. So you had no intentions of writing a book. So since that is the case, how did you move into this space? How did you get to this place?
Being a parent, having teenage son, teenage daughter. You try to bestow the things on them to prevent them from making mistakes that you have made. And then, as you start to get gray hairs on your chin, it becomes obvious that there may be a possibility that you're running out of time to speak to them. And one of the best ways that I thought to do that and to leave something for them, a guide and some of these things, this particular thing, this subject, credit and cash flow, was to write a book.
Wow. So this is kind of a way to not just help people, but I hear the word legacy.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's very responsible of you also, man, to do that. So that's something that a lot of us can take to heart because, as being a parent, as you talked about, some things I'd wish I'd bestowed upon my son, earlier, but
right.
This is information that can be passed down to children and grandchildren.
Absolutely. I learned, yeah. Well, I was gonna say I learned being raised by my grandfather that at a certain point it felt like, as a parent now, I see he wasn't just raising me; he was teaching me how to raise my son.
Wow, he wasn't just
he was teaching me how to raise my son.
I love that. Want to ask you this title. It's a very good title. It's a very attracting. When I teach workshops and seminars for authors, I tell them to get a title that's both attracting and attractive. And yours is spot on, man. So how did the title come about?
The title came about, actually, the funny thing is the title, which is now Christmas is Coming, I actually went with that title about 6 weeks before I released the book. The original title, All I Want for Christmas, was Good Credit and Positive Cash Flow. That was the original title. And throughout my research on writing the book, it was suggested that you have a subtitle. So I made that the subtitle, and I came with the title of Christmas is Coming. The title is both as simple and at the same time complex. Because when we talk about Christmas, we talk about a lot of things. Depending on which age you are, depending on what religion you are, you talk about what you expect. You can talk about the emotions around Christmas, especially a year like this year with COVID.
Right.
People going through it like that. And all those things tie into credit and cash flow in some way. And more so credit, we see. And for me as a kid, Christmas was like that day, and, toys stretched out as far as you can see at the bottom of the tree. And, when I had my kids, of course, I did the same thing. And, sometimes you suffer for that after, just to realize that the kid really didn't want all those kid presents. He just wanted like one or two.
Right.
So I wanted to deal with that because a lot of people go into a lot of debt around this time, Christmas.
That's very important. Like you said, a lot of people do go into debt. talk to us about, I'm quite sure you speak to that in the book, but debt and credit, around this time, people do make those mistakes in
They do.
doing those things. So how does your book help with that?
Well, it gives you some very practical ways on how to become aware. One of the main things that you want to become aware, you want to have an awareness.
Mm,
You want to have an accountability of what you actually have and what you don't have. If you don't have it, you just don't have it.
right.
There's no need to go. There's no need to go because of just of one day getting and like I say, getting gifts when you can do other things. You could just spend time with people. You can make a gift at home, and you can get creative doing other things. And like I said, with the kid thing, I found out that in my research, it was the lack that my parent couldn't give me. And so they pushed everything on Christmas.
Wow.
They pushed everything on Christmas. And until I became a parent, I didn't realize the pressure that my family was under during that season. And I didn't want to pass that down to my son.
Oh, that's powerful, man. That's powerful. And so
Yeah.
when people read your book, they will get the same sense of legacy, responsibility, or revelation that you did. Would
Oh, they're
that
going to get
happen?
more than that. They're going to get more than that. I talk in the book, I talk about how to budget as a single individual. I talk about how to budget as a couple. You know, or you may not know, but if
Yeah,
you've been married, I
I
mean,
am married.
finances is one of the major things that causes divorce.
Right.
Two people coming together, agreeing on who's going to pay and who's not going to pay. I talk about that in the book. Very helpful, usable tips there. I talk about other ways on how to buy large purchases, like a house and a car. I talk about what your credit score should be, not what they will accept you at, but what it should be. And I talk about the difference between net income and gross. I couldn't believe that a lot of people are still confused with the difference between net income and gross. But there's like a 15 to 30% difference between gross and net.
Really?
Uh,
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Why do you think you say you run into a lot of people? A lot of people are still confused in that. Why do you think there is such confusion, or why do you think there's such a need? There's a great need. Based listening to what you said, there's a great need for the information in your book. So this will be a great book to give somebody as a Christmas present. If you're just
Yeah.
joining us
Absolutely.
here on Talking Books, we're talking with author Darryl Harmon. So why do you think
That's
it
right.
is that this subject matter is so needed, but not talked about or taught as much?
Well, one, the main place we go to learn is school.
Right.
Whether it's not taught in schools. If
Eh,
you're not taking it, if you're not taking a finance class when you get to college, you probably won't learn it.
Hmm.
Okay. And where are you going to learn it from? You're going to learn it from your parents. And like I said, with my parents, I learned more about credit. Okay. I knew that my parents were replacing their lack of cash flow with their credit. So in essence, they had already run out of money. Even though they were working, they ran out of money. And they were using credit to replace the money that they didn't have, which is why I talk about how to increase positive cash flow.
So help some real quick. We've got some information I want to get to, but can you talk briefly to help our viewers talk about what your book says about credit and cash flow? I mean, we should understand that, but can you talk about that for just a second?
Well, credit should be used for the things that you need, not necessarily those things that you want.
So I can't buy the new
Okay.
Jordans on credit. Don't buy the new Jordans on credit.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
If you don't have it, then when you read this book, you're going to learn how to increase your cash flow so that when you're ready to buy those new Jordans, you can go buy them cash.
Wow.
Okay. Save your credit, keep it good. As a matter of fact, if you're using credit, you should be alarmed. Like, wait a minute, why do I need to use my credit?
Okay.
I have good credit. Why do I need to use it? Check your account.
Hmm.
Check your account you're either running out of money or you already have run out of money. And this is what I see. And it's happened to me. So I know that is happening.
Right. Does the book help people who may already have a bad credit or their rough, bad situation credit because of some things that they did when they didn't know, but, they're trying to get it together? Does the book help with that?
Oh, absolutely. And now it's not the traditional credit repair stuff. I will tell you that. It's not the traditional send all these letters and tell them you didn't do it and all this kind of stuff. No, it's just the opposite. Take responsibility for your actions.
Ah, man, that's good.
Take responsibility for your actions. You're not going to learn unless you take responsibility for your actions.
Right.
So, and there's growth in that. There's growth in that. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay. And then once you do that, it teaches you how to communicate. It teaches you how to communicate with the creditors. They want to get paid and you want to pay them. So you can get this off of your credit, these blemishes. And once you do that, so if you are in a state where your credit is damaged, okay, first of all, don't take it personal. It has nothing to do with the type of person you are.
I love that.
Don't take it personal. It is what it is. Credit is so sensitive. Scores can drop 50, 60, 100 points just like that. And people, you see people in tears because they lost 100 points. They made a late payment. And one other thing I want to say about that, automation. Automation is your friend. Use that cell phone, set up reminders when your bills are due, set up reminders. I talk about that in the book. I talk about little tips like that on how to prevent from making late payments, how to prevent your credit from getting any worse if it's bad.
Wow.
And once you get it good, how to keep it good. More importantly, how not to use it by increasing your cash flow.
Wow. So this book is written for, it will be written in regular everyday language. You don't have to be an accountant to understand this. Regular people,
absolutely
regular
not.
everyday folk.
Absolutely not. Well, again, going back to who I originally wrote it for, was 16-year-old, 14-year-old. So I had to keep it plain and straight.
Okay.
I had to make it plain, and we went through and we took out anything that might be, something that they may say, oh, well, I don't understand that. No, it's really plain. It's really easy. It's for everyday people. This book, I have a student section in there mainly for like college. At the same time, this book is for, if you're 16 and you're living, then this is for you.
Okay. So that's what I was going to ask you. The audience, who is this book for? This book is for.
If you're 16 years old and you're living.
Okay.
My grandmother's 94. I'm sure she would learn something from this book.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely. So there's an audience for this book, and there's a need for this book. I would say,
yes.
Yeah, I was going to say unfortunately, but not necessarily so, because it helps people with cash flow.
Cash flow is the thing, man. You go and you look now, everybody's talking about credit. You go look at a car, they're talking about no credit. All you need is your pay stubs. And they give you this high old interest rate.
Right.
And now you're messing up your cash flow because every month you're paying a $600 note, where if you had waited, put your credit in a reasonable score, like 680. 680 is the score. I wouldn't make large purchases with less than 680. Okay. And a lot of people, there's a lot of programs out there that want to get you in there for 620 and 580. Well, you're not going to get a good interest rate. So if you're getting interest rate higher, let's say if you had a 680, you would probably get something around 6 or 7.
Okay.
If you're below that, you may get something at 17.
Wow.
So that gap that's part of your cash flow.
Okay.
So you want to keep that money and not give it away. So those are the things I talk about in the book. How to know before you go. Know what you're going into before you go make a purchase.
Okay. So it seems very practical in helping people. And after Christmas, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to need this, right?
Well, hopefully, if they get the book before, they'll have a little pause,
right?
And they won't go so hard because, depending on your cash flow, it could take you a year to recover from one day, one holiday.
Really? Wow.
Of course.
You need to get this book. You need to make sure you get this so that you can help your own situation. Tell us, Brother Darryl, how people can get a copy of the book.
Okay, so right now the book is on Amazon Amazon.com. Christmas is coming. It's also on the publishing website, which is www.chargeit2myhead.com. So it's chargeit2myhead.com. On the website, you get an autographed copy.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love
Yep.
that. I love that. So if someone wanted to reach out to you, contact you, they wanted you to come and speak or do a Zoom workshop, a seminar, or something like that, how can they get in touch with you? How do they get in touch with you?
Through the publishing website, but also they can email me. And I'm glad you mentioned that. I don't normally do it, but if someone buys the book, which I hope they will, and they have questions, they can email me at D Harmon, that's HARMON, D Harmon, at chargeit2myhead.com. They can reach me there. They can email me, and it's also that my emails, all my contact information is also on the website.
Very good. Very good. Now you need to get this book before Christmas. You need to get this book as soon as you see this. Christmas is coming. All I want is a good credit and positive cash flow.
That's it, man.
Powerful book. Powerful book. The title is there. And kind of off subject, but I noticed your shirt. Tell us about your shirt.
Oh, that's great, man. So this shirt right here, there's a little story behind it. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So like I said, my son is 15, that'll be 16 in February. Funny thing is, last year, I took him shopping. Last year, he was in Houston at the time. He lives here now with me in Charlotte. I fly out to Houston. I know it's going to cost me a little more because he's older now. He's 15, freshman in high school.
Okay.
So he's into his clothes. So he says, Dad, let's go to the mall, which is not my favorite place. So we go to the mall. After 3 hours, I've spent about $600, right? And there's all these clothes, and I'm thinking, now he's got some Nike there. We go to PacSun, and I'm like, Duncan, we're not getting a return on any of this stuff. Like, Nike is not giving me anything back. So I'm calculating this stuff, and I'm like, 4 more years of this, not gonna happen. So it's not gonna happen. So around that same time, a few months later, he said, Dad, 15. Now, it would be wrong for me to set him up on that path with today's economy.
Okay, repeat.
It would be wrong.
Can you repeat what you said because you kind of froze? Repeat what you said before that.
He said, Dad, when can I get a job?
Oh, okay.
Right. Which happens to be the same time I started working at 15 years old.
Right.
So I said, Duncan, because I don't talk about passive income in the book, but my next book will sponsor passive income. So I said, Duncan, you're in school, you're a freshman, and you're into clothes, and I'm not gonna keep buying $600-700 worth of clothes for you, okay? So I'm not gonna do it. So it took us some time, about 6-7 months. We designed the shirts, and now he has a website and he sells the shirts. So now,
wow,
he wakes up and I said, Duncan, you just sold. So he's learning passive income. And he's getting more and more into selling his shirts. I mean, he's most marketable. He's in school.
Right.
There's over 2,000 people there. I mean,
you
and I, when are we ever around 2,000 people unless we're at a concert? So he's very marketable.
Right.
So and he go to college, go to campus, and if it takes him 5-6 years to get his brand fully known out to the world, that's fine. That's just another stream. That's another income he'll have. And that's something added to his cash flow, which again will make sure he doesn't have to use his credit.
Oh, very good. So still teaching the lessons, still teaching, still setting up legacy. Very good.
Setting up, man.
Very good. Very good. Christmas is Coming by Darryl Harmon.
That's right.
One more time before we close out, give us where we can get the book.
Amazon.com. Go to Amazon. Type it in the search bar. Christmas is Coming. Scroll down. Grab the book. Grab 2 books. Grab one for a friend. And also, if you want a signed autograph copy, www.chargeit2myhead.com. Chargeit2myhead.com.
Powerful, powerful, powerful.
Go get it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us on Talking Books. If you want to follow me, no problem, man. I greatly appreciate your time. Listeners, viewers,
I will.
You can follow me on Instagram at EncourageMan, the letter N, Courage Man. You can see some of our other shows and my other videos on YouTube. YouTube Talking Book, YouTube The Encouragement with Dwayne E. Shigg, or you can follow me on my Facebook page, Your Encouragement. That's MINT. But in the meantime, make sure you get this book, Christmas is Coming. We've had a blast. If you are an author and you want to talk about your books, contact us at drshigg@gmail.com. That's drshigg@gmail.com. And as always, I want you to remember that the dream is doable. So go get it. Stay encouraged. Be blessed. Thank you, sir.